morning, students. Today is another chemotherapy topic, that is anti-helminthics. So, as the name indicates, helminthics, it is the drugs which is used for treating the roundworm infection or trematode, cystodes, other hookworm infections you can treat. So what is anti-helminthic? The drug used to treat the parasitic worm infections. They are called as helminthic infections. All the parasitic worms, either it is because of nematodes or trematodes or flukes or cystodes. This usually you must have already read in your microbiology parasitic class. So what are the drugs which are used to treat this parasitic worm infection? They are called as anti-helminthics. Otherwise, it is called as vermicide or vermifuge. Unlike protozoa, the helminthics will be large and they have complex cellular structures. Drug treatment is very specific. It is very important to identify the causative worm infection, and it is done how you will find which worm causes this infection by finding the parasite ova or larva in your feces, urine, blood, sputum or tissue. So whenever you do this examination of either feces, urine or blood or sputum or tissue, then you will find the parasite ova or larva. So Nema helminthics, that is roundworm. So roundworm is called as Ascaris lumbricoides. Hookworm, Nectar americans. Weefworm, that is Trichuris trichura. Threadworm, Strongyloidosis. Pinworm, Enterobius vermicularis. Filariasis, caused by Richeria bancrofti. Onchocerciasis, caused by Onchocercia volvulus. Guinea worm, it is called as Dracunculum. Platyhelminthics, that is trematodes, otherwise called as flukes. That can be blood fluke, that is schistosomiasis, or liver fluke, that is clonocarciasis, intestinal fluke, lung fluke. You will know all this, you have already must have read in your microbiology, that what is roundworm, hookworm, threadworm, pinworm, filariasis and guinea worm. Then trematodes, these are the called as the Nema helminthics, okay, or roundworms. Platyhelminthics are nothing but that includes trematodes, which is called as flukes. So it can be blood fluke, liver fluke, intestinal fluke and lung fluke. Or cystodes, which can be beef tapeworm, pork tapeworm or fish tapeworm. Beef tapeworm is called as Taenia saginata, pork tapeworm is called as Taenia solium, and fish tapeworm is called as Diphyllothrium. Okay, so these are the tapeworm infections are called as cystodes. Okay, so these are the various helminthic infection or parasitic infections. So regarding your exam point of view in this chapter, not many questions have been asked you in your university exams. Mostly the main drug which we already know, that is albendazole, which is mostly used for this roundworm infections. So that can be your main questions. Or 4 marks questions also can be albendazole or mebendazole. So coming to the drugs, against the nematodes, what are the drugs? That is albendazole, mebendazole, parental pamoid, lebimizole, piperagine, ivermectin, diethyl carbamazine, thiaalbendazole, doxycycline. Okay, these are the nematodes which these are the drugs which are used against the nematodes infections. So most common you have to remember is albendazole, mebendazole. Okay, ivermectin also, diethyl carbamazine also you have to remember, DEC. Mostly we are giving for filariasis. Okay, then against trematodes. Against trematodes you can use this metrifonate, oxaliquinone and bithinyol. Okay, against cystodes, that is all Taenia solium, Taenia saginata, you have only one drug, that is niclosamide. Okay, niclosamide. Then both trematodes and cystodes, you will have a drug, that is praziquantel. Okay, praziquantel. So the first drug against nematodes, that is parental pamoate. What is the role of this drug? You remember? All these drugs will cause paralysis of worms. Okay, so that the worm will be getting paralyzed and they will get expelled through your GIT tract. So how the worms get paralyzed too? That is this parental pamoate, they block the acetylcholine at the neuromuscular junction. Okay, at neuromuscular junction you have acetylcholine. So it will block that and it will cause, as you know, acetylcholine causes contraction. So when it blocks the acetylcholine, there will be no contraction occurring. So it blocks the acetylcholine at the neuromuscular junction, and that way it causes paralysis of the worms and that are expelled through the GIT tract. So what is the pharmacokinetics? The small amount will get absorbed. So most of them remain in your intestinal wall. So this is also called as luminal antihelminthics. Okay, because it remains mostly in your intestinal wall. So it is called as luminal antihelminthic. It can be used for both roundworm, hookworm and pinworm. The dose is 10 mg per kg. What is a side effect? Hypersensitivity reactions, headache, drowsiness, and may precipitate epilepsy. So this is parental pamoate. So the main is it causes paralysis of worms. How? By blocking the acetylcholine receptors at the neuromuscular junction, the worms get paralyzed too, and then there will be expulsion of these worms through your GIT tract. It is also a luminal antihelminthic because the small amount only get absorbed. The high level gets achieved in the intestinal wall. Uses can be used for roundworm, hookworm, pinworm, 10 mg per kg. The side effects will be hypersensitivity reactions, headache, dizziness, and drowsiness. The other main drug, that is bench-imidazole. It includes albendazole, mebendazole. Okay, albendazole, mebendazole is called as bench-imidazoles. Mechanism, it binds to beta tubulin. Okay, it binds to beta tubulin. As you know, beta tubulin is nothing but it forms a cytoskeletal structure of a parasite. Okay, which causes polymerization of the cytoplasmic tubules. So it will bind to the beta tubulin and prevents the polymerization. Because of that, whatever the microtubule was formed in cytoplasm, that gets breakdown. And second mechanism is it inhibits the uptake of the glucose and other nutrients, and because of that, the parasites, there will be depletion of the glycogen. No glycogen, no ATP, and that leads to autolysis and death of the parasitic worm. So remember, albendazole, mebendazole, all the bench-imidazole, the main mechanism is it binds to beta tubulin and prevents the polymerization and causes breakdown of cytoplasmic microtubules. And also it inhibits the uptake of glucose and other nutrients, and because of that there will be decrease of the parasitic glycogen stores, no ATP, so autolysis and death of the parasitic worm. Then bench-imidazole uses, that is Ascaris, hookworm, pinworm. For all this, albendazole have a single dose. Okay, remember for adults, this is a fixed dose, that is 400 mg single dose. For children above 2 years, you can give 200, for adult and for children above 2 years, both dose is same, that is 400 mg single dose. And for 1 to 2 years, you have to give half the dose, that is 200 milligrams. For hydrated disease, same dose, 400 milligrams, but you have to give twice for 1 month. Neurocysticercosis, you have to give albendazole with corticosteroids. Cutaneous lava migraines, 400 milligrams for 3 days. Then visceral lava migraines. So the uses you remember, Ascaris, hookworm and pinworm. You are given single dose 400 milligram, and for adults and for children above 2 and for above 2 years also same dose like adult, that is 400 milligram. 1 to 2 years you are given 200 milligram. Hydrated disease same dose 400 milligram twice a day for 1 month. Neurocysticercosis along with corticosteroids you have to give. Cutaneous lava migraine same 400 milligram for 3 days and visceral lava migraines. Benzimidazole ergocephax is well tolerated, less side effects. If used more than 3 months, there will be epigastric distress, alopecia and insomnia will be there. For intestinal worm, it should be given on empty stomach, whereas for cysticercosis, hydrated disease and cutaneous lava migraines, you have to give in the fatty meals. Okay, so coming to adverse effect of benzimidazole, it is as such well tolerated, it has got less side effects. Only for some case like hydrated disease, you are giving 400 milligrams and you are giving BD for 1 month. If you have to continue for 3 months, then there will be certain side effects like epigastric distress, insomnia. And if you are giving this drug for treating the minor infections like hookworm, roundworm, for that you have to give this drug in an empty stomach. And other diseases like cysticercosis, hydrated disease, you have to give this drug with a fatty meal. Then thiaalbendazole. Okay, thiaalbendazole, it inhibits these cellular enzymes, and that is mostly the enzyme that is fumarate reductase. Okay, it inhibits the enzyme fumarate reductase, and that interferes with the carbohydrate metabolism of the parasite. The side effects, same GIT, neurological side effects, then hypersensitivity reaction and liver damage. So that is thiaalbendazole. It inhibits the enzyme that is fumarate reductase enzyme. Remember other albendazole, mebendazole, they have a mechanism that is inhibition of binds to beta tubulin and it causes inhibition of polymerization and breakdown of cytoplasmic microtubules. Thiaalbendazole, it inhibits the Hellman specific fumarate reductase enzyme and interferes with the carbohydrate metabolism. Then levamisole, it is antihelmintic and immunomodulator and it belongs to synthetic imidazole, okay, imidazole thiazole derivatives. So this is also levamisole you are giving in many roundworm and hookworm infections. The mechanism is it has got nicotinic-like action. Okay, nicotinic-like action. So first it will stimulate and then it will block the neuromuscular junction. Okay, if you remember the first drug parental pamoid, I told you it binds to the acetylcholine and blocks the acetylcholine effect at the neuromuscular junction. At that way, it causes paralysis of the worms and expulsion. This drug has nicotinic-like action. Okay, that is nicotinic-like action. So first it will stimulate acetylcholine, then it will block this acetylcholine at the neuromuscular junction. And because of that, the worms get paralyzed and gets expelled in the fishes. Then pharmacokinetics, same, is given orally, rapidly absorbed and widely distributed. It crosses the blood-brain barrier. So levamisole is also, not only it is used for treating the parasitic infection, there are certain other uses of levamisole which includes your skin infections, leprosy, aphthous ulcer, rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, the side effects include GIT disturbances, dizziness and skin eruption. So levamisole is mostly used for dermatological conditions, that is leprosy, lichen planus, aphthous ulcers. Side effects include GIT disturbances, dizziness and skin eruption. So what then next drug is piperagine. Okay, what is piperagine action is mostly it is a GABA agonist. So if you remember, we have taught you this GABA mechanism in CNS chapter. So what does the GABA do? It causes opening of the chloride channels. Okay, and that causes hyperpolarization of the Ascaris muscle. So piperagine, it has got a GABA agonist action. It causes hyperpolarization of the Ascaris muscle and it causes opening of the chloride channel, causing relaxation and decreased response to contractile action of acetylcholine. Uses Ascaris and pinworm. So what is the adverse effect? Nausea, dizziness, excitement occur at high dose. Toxic doses will produce convulsions. Okay. So piperazine causes hyperpolarization of the Ascaris muscle by what action? GABA agonist action. It causes opening of the chloride channel and there will be hyperpolarization. Okay. Then next comes ivermectin. Ivermectin is mostly used for filarial infections, okay, caused by Wicheria bancrofti, filarial infection and onchocercosis. So this is what does it do? It opens the glutamate gated chloride channels. Remember this drug piperazine, it is GABA mimetic action, and ivermectin is it opens the chloride channel but by opening the glutamate gated chloride channels. So it binds to the allosteric site on the nicotinic acetylcholine receptor and also it causes sustained contraction of the muscles and that leads to motor paralysis. So ivermectin, it is a broad spectrum. Why it is called broad spectrum? Not only it is used against the worm manifestation, hookworm, roundworm, but also it can be used for filariasis and onchocercosis. That's why it is called as broad spectrum. And mechanism is it kills the worm by opening the glutamate gated chloride channels and increases the chloride conductance. Okay. And directly it binds to the acetylcholine nicotinic receptor and causes increasing transmission that leads to motor paralysis. Then uses same filariasis that is caused by Wicheria bancrofti. Single dose is enough. It kills the immature microfilaria of onchocercosis volvulus and prevents the cause of river blindness. The drug also is used for against to roundworm, common roundworm, weefworm and threadworm. That's why it is called as broad spectrum. So it works best if repeated in 6 to 12 months interval. Side effects include skin rashes, fever, headache, and pain is muscle, joints and lymph glands. Then diethyl carbamazine, it is a piperazine derivative. Okay, it is a piperazine derivative. It is active in filarial infection caused by Wicheria bancrofti. And what does it do? It immobilizes microfilaria and alters their surface structure. Okay, it makes them susceptible for host defense and it causes alteration of organelle membranes of microfilaria, promoting cell death. So diethyl carbamazine is otherwise called as DAC. It is mostly used for the filarial infections. Okay, directly it will go and bind to microfilaria and then it will immobilize this microfilaria and alter their surface structure. Okay, then also it causes alteration of the membranes of this microfilaria and causes direct cell death. So this drug is absorbed by oral administration. Urinary excretion is drug is excreted unchanged and N-oxide metabolite. Then uses chemoprophylaxis. Okay, filariasis uses is 2 to 3 mg per kg for 2 to 3 weeks. Tropical eosinophilia you can give for 7 days and loiasis. So these are the uses as a chemoprophylactic to prevent filariasis. In the treatment of filariasis itself, that is dose of 2 to 3 milligram per kg for 2 to 3 weeks. Tropical eosinophilia for 7 days. What is the side effect? Fever, headache, anorexia, malaise, vomiting, asthmatic attack. Following the first dose are due to products of destruction of parasite, and all these reactions will be minimized. We have to increase the dose slowly over 3 days. Then you can minimize these attacks, asthmatic attacks, which occurs during the first dose, following the first dose because of the product of destruction of parasite. Then niclosamide mechanism, it is causes inhibition of parasites anaerobic phosphorylations of ADP. Okay, niclosamide, you remember it is used for the cystode infections, that is Tinea solium, Tinea saginata, all the tinea infections you can use niclosamide. So what does it do? It causes inhibition of the parasites mitochondrial anaerobic phosphorylation of ADP. Because of that, there will be no production of the energy. So the Scolex and the scolex and the proximal segment are damaged by this drug. Okay, and then the worm gets separate from the intestinal wall and gets expelled. So there is negligible absorption of this drug from the GIT tract. Uses Tinea-Solium. The drug is given in single dose after a light meal followed by purgative for 2 hours. Okay, so mechanism is it causes inhibition of parasites mitochondrial anaerobic phosphorylation of ADP. The scolex and the proximal segment are irreversibly damaged. The worm gets separated from the intestinal wall and gets expelled. So mostly used for Tinea-Solium. You have to give a drug single dose after a light meal followed by purgative 2 hours. Then adverse effects, nausea and vomiting can occur, sometimes drowsiness and malaise. Is contraindicated in lactating and pregnant women. Drug interaction, it acts as an enzyme inducers. So there will be enzyme inducers like dexamethasone, phenytoin, carbamazepine increases the metabolism of this drug. Then against nematodes and cystodes, that is praziquantel. This is the drug of choice for all the forms of schistosomiasis and cystode infections. Okay, both to nematodes and cystodes. So for both the fluke infections and tinea infections, we can give this drug, that is praziquantel. So what is the mechanism of the praziquantel? It increases the permeability of the cell membrane to calcium and it causes contracture and paralysis of both the worms and larvae. Pharmacokinetics is rapidly absorbed after oral administration and distributes into the CSF fluid. Side effect, it causes nausea, headache, dizziness and drowsiness. Okay. So praziquantel, you remember, against both nematodes and cystodes you can use. And what is the mechanism of this? It increases the permeability of cell membrane to calcium and it causes contracture and paralysis of both adult worm and larva. Then against nematodes, that is metrifonate, oxyaminoquinone and bitinol. Okay. So metrifonate is an organophosphorus compound. It is cholinesterase inhibitor. It is safe, cost effective for schistosoma infections. Okay, organophosphorus compound and it is a cholinesterase inhibitor. It has good oral absorption. It is orally active and half-life is 1 to 5 hours. Okay, so directly it is a cholinesterase inhibitor. What does cholinesterase do? It causes breakdown of acetylcholine to choline and acetic acid. So once the enzyme gets inhibited, acetylcholine cannot be break down. So acetylcholine remains like that and it causes prolonged contraction and flaccid paralysis of the worms. Okay, so it is a cholinesterase inhibitor. So the side effects will be cholinergic side effects, that is diarrhea, tremors and bronchospasm. This is also contraindicated in pregnancy. The last drug, that is oxyaminoquine, that is against the nematodes. Okay, so this is used for Schistosoma mansoni and this is a drug of choice for all the form of schistosomiasis. Mechanism, when you take the drug, the fluke first esterifies the drug to form a reactive metabolite and that metabolite alkylates the DNA of the flukes and inactivates the parasite DNA. In that way the parasite dies. Okay, how it dies? When you take the drug, the fluke will esterify this drug and there will be a formation of a reactive metabolite and that will cause alkylation of the parasitic DNA and inactivate it. The main side effects will be CNS, drowsiness, dizziness, pruritus and urticaria. Okay. The next drug is bitinol. This is also orally well absorbed, not so important drugs. Then clybendazole. It is a narrow spectrum. It is used more only for the liver fluke, that is human fascicular hepatica. Okay. So that completes your anti-helmintic. See, remembering this all multiple mechanism will be difficult for you. So first the main drug you remember, that is your albendazole, and against to which drug can be given. As I already told you, first you know what are the roundworms? That is Nemahelminths. Okay, roundworm, hookworm, wheatworm, pinworm. These are all the worm infections. And your platyhelminthes are the trematodes. That is fluke infections. That can be blood fluke, liver fluke, intestinal fluke, and lung fluke. Then next comes your cystodes. That can be all tapeworm infections. That can be beef tapeworm, pork tapeworm, fish tapeworm. So it can be Taenia saginata or Taenia solio. So these are the classification of the helminths. Then you remember the main drug is always albendazole and mebendazole, which are used for mostly the hookworm, roundworm, and wheatworm infections, mostly the worm infections. So you have to remember basically the main mechanism of albendazole group. Okay, that is what is the mechanism? It goes and binds to the beta tubulin, and then it will block the polymerization of the cytoplasmic microtubules, and because of that too, the parasite dies. Okay, then what is the dose? You have to remember that is albendazole, because in basic day-to-day practice we are using that drug. So remember, for adult we are giving 400 milligrams single dose, and for 1 to 2 years children we are giving 200 milligrams. Above 2 years an adult, you will have same dose, that is 400 milligrams OD stat. Okay, and then for other infections like hydatid disease, you have to give 400 milligrams VD for 1 month. Okay, and what are the adverse effects? Usually albendazoles are well tolerated, but when you give this drug for a prolonged period, like for hydatid disease, sometimes we give for 3 months. That time there will be insomnia, okay, alopecia, rise in the liver enzymes. So these are the few side effects. So main drug albendazole, if people remember. Then next to diethyl carbamazine, that is also the main drug which are used for the filariasis infections. Okay, treatment of filariasis is a separate question for you people. So filariasis infection, you can remember the main dose, that is diethyl carbamazine. So what does the drug do? This is mostly used to treat elephantiasis or filariasis caused by Wicheria bancrofti. So when you take the drug, it will immobilize the Wicheria bancrofti. Okay, it will immobilize the microfilaria and alters the surface structure and makes them susceptible for host defense. Then it causes alteration of the organelle membranes of microfilaria, promoting cell death. So diethyl carbamazine can be a separate portion like albendazole. So remember the uses also can be used for filariasis treatment, that is 2 to 3 milligram per kg, or chemoprophylaxis or tropical eosinophilia. Side effects mostly fever, anorexia, nausea, vomiting, headache will be there. But most common after giving the first dose, some people have asthmatic attack. That happens because of the destruction of the parasite. Okay. After the destruction of the parasite, what are the products released? You may get these symptoms. So to minimize that, you have to slowly increase the dose for over first 3 days. Then niclosamide, it causes inhibition of the parasite's mitochondrial anaerobic phosphorylation of ADP. Okay, niclosamide also is an important drug. It is used mostly for all the fluke infections, blood fluke, lung fluke, intestinal fluke, all the fluke infection we are giving niclosamide. So it directly inhibits the parasitic anaerobic mitochondrial ADP phosphorylation. Because of that, there will be no production of the energy, and the scolus and proximal segment are damaged by this drug, and the worm gets suppressed from intestine and gets expelled. Okay, so for all the fluke infection you can give, and also for the Taenia infections. Then for both trematodes and cystodes, for only cystodes you will have niclosamide. For both trematodes and cystodes you will have praziquantel. Okay. So these are the few important drugs you have to remember. Oxaminiquine, bethinical are not so important. Thank you.